Welcome to Stories from the River, a special edition today. I am here with Charlie Malouf, our president and CEO and host for Stories from the River. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm very much looking forward to this episode, and we're going to turn the tables a little bit today. I'm putting you in a hot seat.
Yeah, I've got to get used to the angle. I'm not like this. I'm not used to turning right on this thing. That's okay. It's all good.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So get ready for an exciting episode. We're going to talk. We're going to get into a few things, and we're going to get behind the scenes with Charlie Malouf. You ready to go?
Well, I think so. I just got the notice a couple of days ago to be on the podcast, and I think I just got the questions late last night. So,
yeah, we do it a little differently over here on my side of the table.
You've done a great job, Kim, and I'm sure this will be no different. Go easy on me.
Okay, all right, here we go. Let's go. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
Okay, so it's been a while, and we have had summer series, part 1 and part 2. So Manny took part 1 of the summer series. Where have you been? Inquiring minds want to know. It's kind of like, where's Waldo? Where have you been?
I've been called much worse than Waldo, so I'll take that. Well, first of all, Kim, I don't think I had ever planned to host for more than a year, for more than the first season. And so I just kind of got into the second season. So I'm super excited to have others come and co-host and take the podcast to different areas and different avenues and tell different stories. I think Manny had presented me an idea several months ago and said, hey, what if we brought our vendors in? And we just started kind of building on that idea, and then we could talk about our Founder Scholarship Fund and bring those folks in. I said, great, can you do that? Because it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, this isn't my day job. And so
Right.
so I just wanted to kind of slow the pace down a little bit and give some other people a chance to host. And so Manny and you and Heather, you guys have all done a great job. I'm happy to share what I've been doing this summer if that's what you really want to know.
I think people do. People love to hear the story. So share with us.
Well, I've been working, first of all, different expansion opportunities that we've been looking at and exploring, but that's not what you really want to hear about. So let's talk about family stuff and vacation stuff. So first of all, my mom usually comes in to visit once a year around the 4th of July. And this year we tried to pull it forward and said, hey, come at the beginning of the summer. The weather will be great. And because Kelly and I, we kind of wanted to, I'd never gone out of town for the 4th of July. So kind of wanted to have a trip for the 4th. So brought my mom and my brother in Mississippi here, and then my sister from Tampa and her husband and their son, my nephew, all came in town. And the only negative was, I don't know if you remember Memorial Day weekend. It was like a January or February weekend. It was
so miserable.
It was like in the 40s and 50s.
It hurt your feelings.
It was cold and rainy, and I was just apologizing the whole time. So my mom loves to sit out by the pool and play with the boys in the pool and her grandkids. And so we didn't get to do a lot of that. However, we made the most of it. We went to a bunch of different places. We went to nice restaurants and like Discovery Place, the Marvel Universe deal they had. And so we got to do that and go to different nice restaurants in town. And so we made the most of it. So that's how our summer kicked off. I did a couple of races.
Okay.
I did a Hit the Bricks 10K in South Charlotte, and then I did a NODA 5K in early June, and then and I did that with one of our corporate attorneys.
Okay. And didn't you have a race with your son? Didn't you do a race with your son also?
I did. That was in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a couple races.
Okay.
One in the Bahamas, and then one in a really cold uptown Charlotte. He did a couple 5Ks with me.
That's great.
Which was really awesome.
Yeah.
I think during the one in the winter, which was so cold, and I just want to get done with it. I think he may have done 3 with me, actually. But I remember one of them, he was telling me to stop and slow down. I was like, no, I pretend I can't hear him. Well, we got to keep going. So
That's great.
I was so proud of him, though. He's doing cross country, and last year he just kind of practiced with the team, and this year he'll get to compete in events. And so over the summer, they had optional, like in football, you have like mandatory training camp and then
Sure.
optional
Yes.
OTAs or whatever. So he had optional training Monday through Thursday at like 7 a.m. The Greenway, they get together. And so he would do that most days that they had it. And I would go out there with them, and so I'd a couple of the days of the week, I would get a run in while he's doing that, and, so that was a good way to start the
So it's
day.
like, why does it not surprise me? You're out there running with the kids too. It's like opportunities,
Well
right?
well, they would do their own. I wasn't with the
That's
kids. I would
fair.
I would do
That's fair.
my run, but, yeah, no, I would do that. So I did that, and then after that other race, we had a big family we like to do typically a couple of vacations, one in the beginning of the summer, one at the end of the summer, and so we always debate on where to go. And we had done some Caribbean trips and whatever. And so wanted something a little bit more adventurous. Kelly had suggested Hawaii, and I just, the amount of travel, I just,
Mm.
so
It's a
I said,
long flight.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so I said, well, what about Cabos? She said, no. So we ended up going to Montana.
Okay.
So not instead of Hawaii, we went to
Because
Montana.
that's similar.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
So we actually did 2 days. I'm sorry, 8 days in two different ranches in Montana on two
Wow.
different sides of the state, and it was like it's like summer camp for kids and adults. And so we had the
Was it
best.
really a vacation? I mean, was it, or did you work through the, I mean, because
Our days were full.
it's
Morning,
like
I mean,
cowboy camp,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So there's horseback riding, there's canoeing, there's go karting, there's paintball, there's archery class, there's axe throwing, there's chuck wagon dinners, there's back road country tours, there's ghost town tours.
Sounds
You know,
so fun.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was as much fun as when we got back. Um, Kelly told me the first prayer that she did, she's putting the boys to bed, and they were doing their prayers, and she said that they said, we, one of the prayers was, I hope we can go to Montana again. Oh, okay, that sounds nice. This summer. They want to go back this summer, so we did not go back this summer. So that was a monumental trip.
That's
It was a
fun.
lot of fun. We did another vacation. First vacation with another family. Well, I guess with Kelly's family. So we went with her um, brother and his wife and their three kids, and so we got a house in South Carolina on the beach, and we'd never done that before. So that was it's the first time we
Making
put
memories.
families together,
Yeah.
and just had fun doing that sort of stuff. And
Well, I'm so glad that you were able to slow down, take a few minutes, because everyone that knows you knows it is not in your DNA. You are constantly going. So it's good to watch you slow down and take advantage of that time and make some memories with your families and
yeah,
have a fun
and
time in summer.
and with friends too.
Yeah.
First of all, we've got an amazing team that allows me to be able to do that, and I couldn't do it, but I have just complete trust in our team, and I'm sure we'll get into that some.
Yeah.
But you'll appreciate this. I think I had a lot of sacrifices last year. I was trying to hit like some health goals and that sort of thing, and so I was eating very like a rabbit, like lettuce and a
Yes.
lot of lettuce and just
Yes.
oatmeal and just not
You were in a no fun zone when it came to
no fun
food.
zone. So I've relaxed that, and we've started going out to more nice dinners and date nights and dinners with friends and that sort of thing, and so that's been a lot of
That
fun.
gives me joy. You know how
Yeah,
much I love a good
yeah.
dessert? You know how much I love
Oh,
a good
I've
dessert?
relaxed the no dessert rule this year, so that's
Oh,
been
good.
fun, and, I've
Okay.
even gone to the movie theater a couple
Oh,
times. Yeah, I saw
okay.
Sound of Freedom, with
Okay.
some friends, and then I saw, not Barbie, but I saw Oppenheimer, which
Okay.
yeah, which the theater
Okay.
was I guess I was trying to wonder why the theater was so packed, the parking lot was so packed, and one, I think everyone was either seeing Barbie or Oppenheimer, Barbieheimer, whatever they call it.
Oppenheimer, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they're calling it,
But,
yes.
the other thing is I think some of the other theaters have closed, so there's fewer supply
Right.
and the demand, so I'm glad to see people going back out to do things like that, and then I've done a lot of, just reconnecting with friends. I've done some more just meeting for breakfast and coffee or phone calls with even college friends and a lot of family members, so I've just taken a lot of time to intentionally reconnect. Done some pickleball games, so that's been
That's the new
fun.
thing. Mandy
Yeah,
and I were talking about that as well. It's like, okay, I need to
yeah,
check out pickleball as well. It's the
yeah,
hottest thing.
it's been fun. Plus working, just not been in the studio.
Just not in the
Yeah, yeah.
studio.
I'm listening to the podcast though.
That's okay. Mandy and I, we had it. We
Yeah,
got it.
I know
We
y'all
got
do.
we
I
got
know
it.
y'all do.
We
Y'all
got
done
it.
great.
It's
Uh,
Host 2.0 and 3.0.
I heard that. I
Right.
heard that. I always like to text you afterwards. And I went to Vegas Market for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And but you'll appreciate this, Kim. My leaving my door to returning to my door, 40 just under 40 hours. I was there and
And
back.
back.
I-
Oh,
In just
it's a
Yeah.
But
I took the red
for
eye
business,
back.
let's just be clear, it was for
It was
business. It
for
was for
business. I got
business.
2 nice meals out of
I
it.
can do 40 hours and with business, or I can
Yeah,
do a little gambling. I can do a little bit of
I'm
that. I
sure.
can do
Yeah,
that.
it was for business.
That's
Anyways,
awesome. How about some learning opportunities this summer too? Yeah, because I know that you love to read, you love to get your hands on materials
yeah,
and those opportunities and other thought leaders, learning from them. So,
yeah.
what kind of learning opportunities did you have this summer?
I love to sink my teeth into a good book and or listen to a good audiobook. The one that has really set with me the most, the longest. I read Invent and Wonder by Walter Isaacson. It's the story of Jeff Bezos and Amazon,
Okay.
and really, it's in two parts. The first half is all of Bezos' shareholder letters, and as I'm reading it, yeah, it's not the most thrilling stuff, but
Well, there's some intriguing things
it's
in there.
really intriguing about how he thinks. Now, I was like, gosh, why was I not reading these for the last 20 years all along the way? I
Mhm.
mean, I should have. I would have had a much greater appreciation for what they were doing and how he was thinking about the business. Because you hear the trade press that was giving them a hard time and they're not profitable, but they were just really long term thinkers, very inventive, very patient, creating new markets. And then the second half would be like just excerpts from some of his speeches that go into different topics. So that was a really interesting one. And listened to a couple recent audiobooks, The Song of Significance by Seth Godin and The One Truth by John Gordon. And I've probably done hundreds of podcasts, way too many podcasts. I mean, it's been very active. We just did a 2-day leadership event with our team at the Global Leadership Summit. And we did it in person. We watched it virtually, but the Park Church's campus off the former Merchandise Mart off Independence. And so we had, I don't know, 15, 16 of us there for 2 full days. And I've watched and or listened or attended their content for the last several years. And this was far and away the best one. There was not a bad speaker. All the content was super high quality. And so it was great to kind of just learn and sink your teeth and like that kind of lets thoughts reverberate around your mind a little bit and get out of like the kind of the regular rhythm where you can kind
Right.
of reflect and think about either the leader you want to be or or what your gaps are, what your blind spots are, or where the company needs to go. So I got to do a little bit of that and so yeah, always looking for good new learning
I
opportunities.
was really bummed. I did hear great feedback about that. I was on vacation myself
Mhm.
that week, but I heard great things about this year's content at
Yeah.
the Global Leadership Summit. So
Well, I think they're offering like a Leader 365 version, and so we need to get with Heather to talk about how we can like make that available longer on demand for our leaders because it was really some great content.
there's always good
Yeah.
content there. So, what are you looking forward to this fall? First of all, so we're going to be we're first of all we're up on football season.
I
Is
know.
that right?
I
It's
know.
the
I
best
know.
time of the year.
One of my favorite things about you, Kim, is your love of college football.
Love college football. It's I
And
don't know.
you've
You
given
have
me
to
some
go.
great college football gifts over the years. I mean, the helmet, the helmet. I think you gave me a jersey, or Lou your husband gave me a
Yes.
jersey. So
Yeah.
I still have those prominently
Yeah, and a
displayed.
friend of mine, she works for the University of Tennessee. Gave you a shirt. So
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
"Wear it in the gym." Is it because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the
yeah,
Tennessee
yeah.
shirt? You're like,
I wore it. I told you I wore it only at home though. I may have worn it to the gym. I may have given that one to my brother though
that's
after a couple years or so.
that's
Yeah,
okay. It needs to listen. It just needs to make its way around.
yeah,
Oranges
yeah,
everywhere. We
yeah.
love
It was
that.
good.
Love that. So what are you looking forward to for the fall?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Maybe I'll start work related and I'll lead into the fall. So later this month, we've got a couple things happening at the river. We're opening a brand new store.
Yes, we are.
I've been out to the construction site here a couple times in the last week or two in Salisbury, and so it's a little bit over 46,000 square feet. It's big. It's in a former Kmart. It's actually a former 86,000 square foot Kmart, but we're not taking the whole space. And it's big, it's beautiful, and it's just going to be the latest and greatest 7.0 design. It's going to have maybe our largest sleep gallery we've had. It's going to have also an outlet as part of it. So it's kind of a two-in-one store with an expanded sleep gallery and the latest 7.0 design. And so that we start receiving product, I think, next week for
That's
that.
right.
By the time this probably airs, and so we'll soft open it, and then I think you're planning a grand opening for that in October. So that'll be
October.
super exciting. And we're gonna have an open house on the for that for people who come in from out of town for the other thing I'm excited about this month, our second annual home furnishings expert soiree, which was something we created last year. And
It just sounds fancy, soiree.
oh, it is fancy. I know what you guys do with it. And so we have our word of the year is elevate. So we're taking it up a notch. So we are, last year it was awesome. And we had what, 130, 120, 140 people.
135, I think,
Yeah.
something like that.
And we had it at Oak Steakhouse. This year we're going just up the street a little bit in South Park at Steak 48, which is an amazing steakhouse. And Oak Steakhouse is also very, 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 very good. But Steak 48 is like the hottest ticket in town. And we bought it out for the night. And we've got our partners coming in. And we've got all of our experts, and we have more experts than we had this time last year, plus their plus one. So their partner, their spouse, or if someone wants to bring their parent, I don't know who they're bringing. So a plus one for our experts who get to celebrate with them, and then our leaders and our several members from our team. So I think we're going to hold like 175 people. So that'll be a magical night with the open house at Salisbury before. And that's just in August. We're not even in the fall yet.
Because we don't have to do anything at Broad River. Let's be
Yeah,
clear.
yeah, yeah. I'm working
That's
for a
right.
lease for a new store
Yeah.
that hopefully we can complete soon and be able to announce it. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm looking forward to another, we've gotten into these quarterly offsite leadership meetings. So I think we've got another one planned for late October. So I'm looking forward to that and the content that we're working on for that. Those are always they just feel good. Just get all the
Get
leaders
everyone
together.
together. It
Yeah.
really does. And the last one that we had, Will Luke brought in an icebreaker or and a learning opportunity of team building, and it was so good. It just felt good. It felt good to have everyone together and working together and sharing ideas.
Didn't you
Think about
win
it.
that? Weren't you like the
Um,
best communicator? Weren't you?
Yes, I think there was myself and Brian Zekelnick
Yeah.
and Chrissy
Yeah.
Whitley and Wes Dudley.
Well,
Yes.
what you learned from that icebreaker was how people communicate and the different communication styles, and it was really cool to see how those kind of coalesce and come together. And so that was a great icebreaker. And so I'm sure we'll have some cool stuff planned for this next one.
I will just say, if we didn't win, you might rethink my title of communications. Am I right?
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Well said.
So, yes, it were high stakes for me.
Yeah. So also staying on the work related, this fall, we are going back to New York City with our leaders for World Business Forum, New York City. It's about purpose, the purpose theme. And so like Jim Collins will be there, Simon Sinek.
So
Or
good.
Simon Sinek. But that was a really great experience last year for November. And shout out to Justin Barnes, who joined our group last year. Hopefully he can make it again. But he, Manny, and I had some nice runs around Central Park, and we'd get up early. Justin and I got up early. We'd go to like a random Planet Fitness in Midtown Manhattan. But then we had, I remember Manny and I found a good little breakfast place one time in between the events. But then the content was super great. So we did that. And, I've got a couple of leadership opportunities in Texas, one with Pat Lencioni and John Gordon in Dallas, and another one with Keith Cunningham. He runs a program called Keys to the Vault.
Okay.
And he's kind of a really pragmatic, practical thinker. His is in Austin, Texas. So I'm thinking about going to those. And then personally, for this fall, looking forward, I've got a couple races that I'm signed up for. There's a Greek Festival 5K later this month, and there's the Around the Crown 10K, which is the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. And then I hope to do the Novant Health Charlotte half marathon again this November.
Wow.
So I've done 4 half marathons in the
Got a
last
full
couple of years.
slate. You got a full
Yeah,
slate
so
coming up in the
hopefully
fall.
just do that. But I'm really looking forward to college football season, and
Oh,
I just want to mention this, so because I know you have an affinity for.
he's prepared. Of course,
Yeah.
you're prepared. Yes,
So
I may be prepared over here as well.
yeah, so
just,
I mean, I'm talking to my cousins about going. I want to go see some SEC football games. Specifically, I'm an Ole Miss fan, so I'd like to.
yes.
And I have a nephew at the University of Alabama, so if I could make it to the Ole Miss Alabama game in Tuscaloosa, that'd be great, and see my nephew. And I kind of want to go see the Ole Miss LSU game in Oxford. Maybe take my family again.
Toddy toddy.
Yeah, and then my cousins and I are talking. They asked me just yesterday, I think, if we want to get a guys trip and cousins guys trip to go to Athens to see the Georgia Ole Miss game in November. So I got to talk to Kelly about that, about the dates conflicting. And
Heads
so
up, Kelly.
it'll be interesting to see how Lane Kiffin and all his portal transfers are gelling together and what kind of year they have. So I've got a few targeted games in mind, and uh, I mentioned my son Drew, so I'm really looking forward to cheering him on and cross country this fall and how he's doing, and just the boys getting back into school. Summer's gone way too fast.
Really
We're
fast.
sad about it actually. We want a couple more weeks. Um, they both went to camp again this past summer, and but they didn't go at the same time, so they alternated weeks. So we would had one son with us while the other one was at camp. That was a little bit easier
Yeah.
on us, and
Some focused time on them too, so that's
yeah, that's
great.
right, because we would take them out to dinner, do stuff
Yeah.
with them, and lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't share that I was looking forward to November 30th, 2023. And that will be the day that I reach my goal of um, 1,000 days in a row, consecutive days in a row of working out. And maybe I can take a day off
Oh
afterwards.
my
So
goodness.
I've got it marked. I got it pinned. Someone asked me the other day, "What are you doing for day 1,000?" I said, "I had no idea. But sleeping, resting, I don't
No,
know.
you're gonna do day
I'm gonna do day
1,000,
1,000."
1,000, which
Yeah,
that is November
yeah.
30th,
It is
and
November
so
30th. Yeah.
December 1.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I
Okay.
don't have any major
That's incredible.
yeah. So
Well,
just been a lot of ups and downs through that. So, anyways, just trying to get the healthy habits
that's right.
back, and that's kind of part of it. Now, there's other habits I kind of want to go attack with that simple daily, consistent compounding mantra and mindset. So, I want to kind of check the box on the health part of it, and so I feel like the business is running well. Professionals running well, health is running well. So now there's other aspects, of life and connections, relationships, marriage, fatherhood, spirituality,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff that I think I've got to apply some of the same level of intentionality and focus to.
Well, your intentionality I mean, it is by far now. I've never seen anyone apply intentionality like you do, Charlie.
Well,
So,
I don't know about that,
yeah,
but
well, it's true. I mean, I mean, 1,000 days.
I'm not there
Eh,
yet.
well, I mean, you're getting there. I mean, you're that close. You're
This
like
morning was day 893. So I got
893. I mean, you're in the red zone. You're like on the 5 yard line, going to punch it in. Here we go.
it's been a grind, Kim. It's
Uh,
been a grind.
it's impressive just knowing, what in the past 3 years, what that's held. And so again, the intentionality and being able to, it's very easy to say, I'm not going to do that today. It's so easy.
Mhm.
So kudos because I,
Well, I would be embarrassed if I'd be here's the embarrassing part that I will admit to. There have been a few nights that are about 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night. Maybe even Kelly and I went and had an awesome dinner, and it's Saturday night, and I have to get my workout in, or travel days are tough too.
Mhm.
So I have been on the Peloton at 10:30 p.m. or 11 o'clock on Saturday night, getting the workout in, and I'm not proud to say it, but that's the level of commitment to just kind of
Yes,
there's an opportunity cost of missing the day. It's
that's
like I want to be able to say that I did it. So
yeah. If you miss the day, can you win the day? I mean, it's there you go.
if you want to make the days count, count the days. So
There
yeah.
you go. So, um, you know, I think we'd also be remiss if we didn't talk about. So we talked about the summer, talked about the fall, but a year as a whole for 2023. How is it going, and what were your expectation? Is it going differently? Did you see? Are you where you thought you would be professionally, personally? What were things that happened that maybe you didn't expect, you never saw coming? How's 2023 going compared to where you thought you would be right now?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me this
Yeah.
question, and I'm probably going to take a left turn on this from what you expect me to
Okay.
say. Well, let me say this: the business is going well. The company, we probably look a lot at the beginning of the year. People were saying there was going to be a recession. There hasn't been a recession yet. The rates keep rising.
Mhm.
A lot of people say in our industry we felt a recession. Now, if you compare it to like the pandemic highs, the sugar high of
Mhm.
2021 and even 2022 to an extent, we're off of those levels, and it's a little bit tougher to kind of get a sale. But I think we're still in really good markets, and even though our traffic's been down more than we would have liked, and our people are executing at a really high level,
They are.
and they're taking care of the guests at a really high level. And we get engagement surveys and pulse survey feedback, and things of this data points that tell us like how we're doing with our people. And we're nowhere near perfect. We have a lot of opportunities, but at retail, at operations, at taking care of the guests, post sale, like I'm so proud of how our people are really executing. So they're doing a remarkable job. Our leaders, we really challenged them as we wanted to elevate this year to be
Mm,
entrepreneurial, to be an entrepreneur within their own box,
mm,
which was, hey, we're going to take our hands off the reins a little bit and like may not be all the ways that we would decide or not. We're here for you, but like build that resiliency, build that entrepreneurial muscle and find your way and figure it out. And it's okay if it's not how we would want to do it. And it's okay if we fail and we stumble along the way sometimes. That's part of it, but that's how you build that resiliency
mhm,
and build that leadership muscle. So we've been so our people are if you looked at our KPIs with how we our guest satisfaction, with our closing rate, with our sales per guest, with our customer satisfaction scores, with our NPS scores, with our speed to customer, any of these kind of KPIs, they're all best we've ever had. They're
mhm,
all like hitting new records for us. And so the business is healthy. We've got a very healthy balance sheet. We've got healthy financial statements. I think we have healthy people, healthy stores, and we have opportunities to continue to invest in our stores. And we're going to get back on that train of more remodels and renovations. And so we're excited about that. So I feel really good about where the business is from that
mm,
level. We've explored different expansion opportunities, and that's there's been a lot of work and into that. And the business basically we assessed that we weren't going to pursue some of those opportunities that we had for various reasons, but we knew that our team was certainly capable of going after that.
mm.
So our team is going to be ready when the time comes. Um, so here's the left turn. So personally, it's been really hard,
Yeah,
if I'm being really honest with you.
yeah,
Uh, I lost my dad in January,
yeah,
um, and I still struggle with it.
yeah, yeah,
I'd like to say that I don't,
yeah.
I'd like to like say that I was, I struggled with it. I would, well, and it comes and goes, and that's how grief works. But there were so many different layers of grief, and I was like intellectually ready because of my dad's gradual decline. But this was my
Mhm.
first parent to lose, and
I don't think you're ever ready. No,
well,
you're
emotionally, I don't know
yeah,
how you
yeah,
can't. I
no.
don't know. So I mean, maybe if you like, you know, it was gradual over the last 3 or 4 years, but then very sudden and very traumatic.
Yeah.
And those thoughts are just like, man, and then, so it's hard to, you spend a lot of time going back. I've spent a lot of time going backwards 30, 40 years and going forwards 30, 40 years.
Wow. Yeah,
Um, and I know that I
yeah.
need to like focus on living in today and it's just been really hard. So the grieving process, you're right around the 6 month mark. Something just clicked and it got easier. But weekends are hard. And I try to assess like why. And
Mhm,
I think life slows down a little bit.
mhm,
Like
mhm.
when you're busy at work, you can almost like not think about it as much and we have stuff to do. And then so I didn't expect that. If you had told me like, hey, you're gonna be struggling after your dad's death for
Mhm.
for 6 months or more, I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, but then like so it's just really challenged me a lot and with different layers of grief and regret and so
It's a
yeah,
process,
yeah.
I appreciate your it's one of the reasons that we love you. It's your vulnerability, your transparency, and it's real. It's a real conversation, and you're not afraid to have that. And I think, well, I appreciate that. I know, uh, people appreciate that. Grief is it's a process,
Yeah.
and season of life. You and I have talked about this. It's you're never prepared. You know it's happening. Nobody is getting off this
Mhm,
big ball,
mhm. It's a
alive. They're
guarantee,
just
yeah,
not. It's a
yeah.
guarantee. Father time is undefeated, and so just taking those moments and just being present.
Mhm,
And again, it goes back to your intentionality. So, what did you learn from that through the grieving process? What did
mhm.
you learn
Oh,
through
yeah.
that? What did you learn through?
Well, I'm sure this isn't like a unique answer or anything, Kim, but just to appreciate all those precious moments. You're right. We were talking about like what we did this summer. I didn't mention that we went to the Whitewater Center.
Mhm,
We took the boys and like three of their friends one Saturday, just
mhm,
just a week or two ago, and had the best time. So, and we talked about like the Montana trip. So we're trying to build those memories and also just trying to be more intentional. I've got some ideas of things I want to like get written down about just memories of who my dad was and just so that we can, like, things he used to say and, how I was thinking about, like, I've got like, an idea for a title for this thing that and maybe it's just shared with my kids, but I was thinking, like, sharing with their grandkids. Like, I was thinking, you know, to like, he was just my dad, but like, gosh, he'd be their great-granddad, and I was thinking of, like, his dad, and so I'm just thinking generationally, you know, backwards and forwards and the sacrifices that people make and how people are and what you talk about legacy. So I'm just trying to kind of noodle on this idea of legacy, which I've never really spent a whole lot of
Mhm.
time about. And like, what would you want someone to remember about you, or what would you want? What are the really important things, the really important relationships, and how you raise your kids, how you um, you talk to them, and then thinking about their kids and like did you know that your great great grandfather did this or was like this? So I'm like asking my uncles a lot of questions. I'm coming up with new things I'm finding out about, like, um, what my dad did, what they used to do as kids, or how my grandmother was, and or my grandfather how he was, and and I'm asking my mom a lot of these questions too, and some like more just exploring these really reflective personal questions that you really just go through life and you could go through life and never think about a lot. So it's just kind of got me to pause and all at the same time, like work has to get done. So you have to kind of continue to go through your day and people don't want to see you like all the time. Like if they say, how you doing? They don't want you to give them a 30-minute soliloquy about like, well, I'm grieving. I'm sorry. There's certain
Right.
people that you can say, like, you don't have to say just, I'm just fine. Like you can be real with,
Mhm.
and you need to find those opportunities. But other times you gotta kind of compartmentalize and like, there's a job to be done, and I've gotta show up, I've gotta do the work,
Mhm.
I've gotta be there for, the people who I lead at this company, I've gotta be there for, the family that I lead, and
Mhm.
and I've gotta be there for myself. Yeah, I heard on Jelani Pope's podcast about sweeping the front door. I had not heard that one, right? You gotta sweep your own front door first, and so you gotta take care of yourself as well, so you can't let those things slip. So I've kinda tried to maintain all the regular rhythms, habits, routines, um, you know, without letting it like overtake my life so that I can um I think there's things I'll realize about this experience and this time, Kim, that I can't appreciate today. And so I think because I'm not out of it yet. And so I think it'll take another ask me a year or 2 years how, God was working in my life or what I learned about perspective or what and I'll have a better answer for you when I think I've come through a little bit further on the other side of it. Um, then I can, like, really fully answer that right
Right.
now.
Well,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. And it's it talk about the process, maybe not even a year. It's a lifetime.
Mhm.
It is living
Yeah.
differently
Yeah.
with those without those
Yeah.
that you love. So
Yeah.
well, so
Listen.
let's transition. Yeah, I'm gonna get you off the hot seat. So that thanks for being sharing that
Absolutely.
very personal stories. So the last time that you were hosting episode 77. Now, I think this will be like 91, 92. I'm not
Okay.
sure what 77, sir.
That
So
was that
77.
that was the Jonathan
It
Issue
was the
series?
Jonathan
Okay.
Issue series. It sure was. So it's been a little while, and we've come through series 1 and 2 for the summer, and the Founder Scholarship Fund, and certainly going into the community partners. You mentioned Jelani Pope, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's what were some of your favorite times over the summers? You're listening in. What did you take from some of those moments?
Well, we can start with the Founder Scholarship Fund
Yeah.
series. That was a Manny did a great job. Heather did a great job talking about the program, and i- it's the humility and the spirit of a lot of those folks who won and were awarded like just listening to them and also is really kind of cool to because I know their parents or
Mhm.
I've known them, like I've known Emmeline for many years, and she got to talk about what it meant to her, and I know Janet Limekuhler, and then her son Joey was on there, or Anita Harris and Jordan Harris, or Orlando's child, and so it was just great to kind of people and you've known for 10 years, 15 years or longer, and you maybe have known this person when they were like a toddler, a young, really, really young kid, and to see just the maturity and the thoughtfulness of the answers and what they want to do with their careers. And so that was kind of really cool to see, and how excited they were when they learned that they won, and they got the news and the announcement. And so that was it was refreshing to see kind of they're at they're and some of them are working now and they're just adding to their because they have more things. They're very aspirational and they want to ambitious and want to add more degrees, and kudos to them, more power to them. And some of them are at the very beginning and they're excited because they can save their parents money to not with this scholarship. So that was like those were really cool things to hear and to share. And that was like the original intent of the Founder Scholarship was
Right.
to ease the burden of college education, which is so important to families at the river who need it, or people at the river, or memory makers. And then the community outreach series was really really special, and
Yeah.
uh, I really enjoyed Lauren Evans. I've never met her in person. I've heard
I had
great things.
not
Yeah,
either, I mean, until that day.
yeah,
It
and
was
so
great.
I mean, I served on the board of Beds for Kids for 10 years, and
Mhm.
Bedford, I've seen them when they were. She was telling some of the stories about how they started. I'm like, yeah, I was there. I was around. I remember it. But she did so. I mean, she was did so eloquently, and she did so well. She told the story so crisply and passionately. So I really loved her retelling of the story and how she kind of got into the leadership role of where she is. It just kind of reminded me as a leader, you have to be a really good storyteller. You have to tell the stories of these great organizations because that's what's going to tug at people's heartstrings, and that's what people are going to connect to. So I thought she did a great job with that. I know Laura's going to do a great job with St. Jude because she was just here prior
Yes.
recording this episode, and listen to Tim with the WSOC 9 Family Focus, which is always great. Steve Scripts for Kids. I really like hearing you and Chris riff on Operation Sandwich because our memory makers have such good hearts and just like always organizing these events and these activities.
Mhm.
So those were like some of the ones that kind of really stand out. They were all. I really like the community outreach programs because that's something that's really special to us, and
Yes.
um, I think it's probably more special than I even think that it is because I probably get numb to it sometimes, or like oh, it's just what we do. But I you know, when you see our memory makers show up in droves to volunteer, or when you hear them talk about how proud they are of what we do or what they get to do through some of these company initiatives, it just always reinforces why we do it. We believe it's the right thing to do. We love partnering with the community and giving back, and it's just it's important to see how our those organizations operate and how much it's meaningful to our people and how much they really give back.
It is, and it just sparks something. It ignites something inside of
Mhm,
Broad River, which makes it so special
mhm.
for and I'm just very honored and proud to be able to lead that community outreach and have those relationships. And to your point, sometimes you get numb. You know how important it is, but when you see it happen, it's magical.
Yeah.
It's magical to watch people show up and make it happen.
Well, you said magical, and we just had the Operation Magic School Bus, right? Which was
Yes.
helping our it was like 127 kids get school supplies. And who are these kids? They're children of our memory makers who
Right.
had needs to help ease the burden of school supplies going back to school. Some of these like TRS-80 calculators or these backpacks, and they're fancy supplies these days. And so to get them ready
Yeah.
for the academic school year with brand new stuff, and these were all contributed by our fellow memory makers, which was really cool to see at the pickup spots and areas. So, and that's just one of the programs that the Memory Maker Experience team, led by Heather, runs and operates.
Yeah.
So those are cool programs.
Yeah.
So it's also community outreach is not just externally; it's also
It's
internally. Yeah,
internally, it's everywhere. We love those opportunities to be able to give back to communities and our people. It's just so special
yeah.
here. Okay, so here's the point. I'm kind of sad. Manny said this. He's like, I'm sad. I'm like, really? Are you sad, Manny? He's like, yeah, I got to turn the baton over. So I'm going to turn this back over to you. Thank you for trusting the podcast to me and to Manny. I was like, he might be a little crazy. Does he know what he's getting into?
I knew you guys would do a great job, and I think Heather hosted one too.
And yes,
Yeah,
Heather
so
did as
I knew
well.
you guys would crush it,
Yeah,
and y'all did.
it was a little fun. So before I do, tell me, give us a little sneak peek behind the curtain about what you're looking for at the podcast. The next few months to finish up the year. What can our listeners expect to hear?
Wow.
You got some ideas?
Yeah, we got a few.
Okay.
We did a series with Jonathan Ishii,
Yep.
and I've been talking to Jackson Moore, the other co-founder. So I've got to get him in to tell his story. He wasn't here as long as Jonathan, but I worked with him for a few years
Mhm.
while he was here. So I want to bring the other co-founder, Jackson, in. We've talked about bringing in some of our alums, like doing maybe a "Where Are They Now?"
That's fun.
Yeah, so some of the alums who've been with us, for 5 or 10 years, and tracking their stories, and there's more partners who we work with, maybe bringing some more of those have been really successful, and so bringing more of our partners that we engage with, and talking about those, and then I also had thought about like bringing in other people who we engage with. So for who would that be? It could be folks within the Ashley Licensing Network, like our good friend Justin Barnes. He's come.
Justin would be great.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
spoken to us,
Sure.
before. Davin Salvagno, who's doing the Elevate Your Purpose, program with us, next month, and so, wanna take the advantage when they come in, and do some series with these thought leaders, and speakers, and friends of ours, and then also wanna get back into doing some more longer form interviews, and telling there's other people we didn't get to, in season 1, and telling their stories, and then we'll find other series, some other thought leaders, and I think also maybe, there's other topics of how we think about business or culture that we get asked about a lot, and maybe we'll take some of those topics, and I'll bring someone here to kind of riff on some of those topics with me, and we'll just talk about, like, we'll take a topic and we'll unpack it and deconstruct it and talk about our thoughts on it, how we think about. Maybe it's how we think about human capital, or career pathing, or recognition and celebration, and nothing necessarily that's like unique to us, but unique to our way of how we do it or approach it, or the memory maker experience. Or we might talk about, maybe we'll bring Stacy and Carl, and we'll talk about kind of retail, and how, draw the room, or the C4
Mhm.
sales process. We'll just kind of share more of kind of behind the curtain of how we do things. But then also, like, if you guys have other ideas that you would love to hear us talk about with the podcast, let us know.
I
Like,
think there's the request for the listeners. Yeah. So inquiring minds want to know. Well, we want to know what you want to hear about as well. So that just helps inspire us. If
mhm,
you're inspired, we're inspired. We want to share that.
yeah,
So yeah, that sounds like a good lineup. There's lots
yeah.
of always something thinking. You're always thinking in
Well,
there.
and then let's take it on the road. Maybe
Oh,
we take these different trips, or we go to these different conferences.
oh yeah.
Let's do some on the road.
Why
Let's
not?
we did that with the Mark Batterson series.
Mhm.
It's not as easy to do if you're going to take a camera crew and put them on YouTube, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We got
Well,
we got all this
we
equipment and
always
gear
do.
here, and we'll figure it out.
We always do. Okay, so if you've been listening to 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 the podcast that I've hosted, here's the time for the rapid fire. Yes, you better go ahead and get hydrated.
Ah,
This is the fun part. This is the fun part. So, I'm going to start with something that's so dear to my heart, which is some college football. Charlie, yeah, you know this was coming. All right, so college football opens how many days?
oh, you're gonna ask me how many days?
Well, actually, it's going to be irrelevant because this is going to air. There's probably be a few days at that
Yeah,
point, but but
is it the 29th?
it's
No,
actually
27th.
it's the 26th. The first one's kicked out of
26.
the twigs. Yes,
I was trying to work
let's
backwards,
go. You're working
'cause I knew
backwards.
29th was a Tuesday, so I was
Yeah,
going. So the 26th.
26th. But the big weekend is Labor Day weekend. There's that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where a lot of people go into football coma,
Mhm.
me included. So I'm going to do a pick 'em. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, okay,
Oh
okay.
yeah, a pick 'em. Okay, we're going to start with your favorite team, Ole Miss versus Mercer.
Ole Miss should take that one pretty handily.
Okay, yeah,
It's gonna be a long fall if they don't.
That's right. So I'll go ahead and take Ole Miss. Ole Miss by how many?
Well, I don't know, whatever they're favored by, plus a little bit
Plus
more.
a little bit more. Okay. Okay. So then we'll kick over to me. So Tennessee versus Virginia, and that's in Nashville.
Oh, Tennessee's gonna be good this year, so I think
Yeah.
you guys gonna yeah, I know you know that. So,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know much about Virginia, but I'm always gonna lean towards the SEC over the ACC any day.
There you go. And for you Vol fans out there, it's Tennessee by 50. Okay. So okay. See what
I gotcha. I
okay.
gotcha.
Okay. North Carolina versus South Carolina.
That's in Charlotte,
It's
isn't
in
it?
Charlotte.
September
Yeah.
2nd?
September
Yeah, I've
2nd.
seen the billboards for that.
Yeah.
Well, I just said I would lean. Yeah, I think South Carolina's been doing a great job in the portal, and they've got a good quarterback, don't they? Spencer, is he still there?
I believe he is still
Yeah.
there.
So,
Yes. That's a
so
sore spot for me. We can move forward.
and I don't know, is North Carolina Sam, no, he was 2 years ago. So I don't even know who UNC's quarterback. I would still stick with SEC over ACC. I don't know if people are going to get mad at me for saying that, but I'll go South Carolina in a close one over North Carolina at Bank of America Stadium.
Okay, so people might get mad at me. I'm going to go pick Mac Brown, the Tennessee boy, leading North Carolina over South Carolina.
Who's favored?
I think South Carolina probably is SEC, but you know.
Okay.
So we're just picking them. This is going to be the fun one too. I think this is the one that everybody's got circled for that weekend. LSU versus FSU. So number 5 versus number 8. ACC versus SEC. Who you got?
Well, if you know anything about me, Kim, I'm pretty consistent.
You are consistent.
So Stacy won't like this. Coach won't like this. And my other Florida State fans won't like this. Where's the game, by the way?
The game is in, I think it's in Baton Rouge.
Well,
I
was going to say LSU anyways, but that would further. LSU's got.
Does it matter?
I'm not a big fan of Brian Kelly, but they've got a really good quarterback.
They do.
And they've got a really good quarterback. In FSU, Florida State's got a great coach. Norvell's doing a great job there. They've got a lot of great talent. If they can neutralize LSU's quarterback, that'll be the key. But I like the LSU quarterback. And I think LSU's going to be really strong this year. And I'm going SEC over ACC again.
I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to go SEC versus over the ACC. Okay, well, that's all I got for the pick. And we're just going to keep it. You know, otherwise we would be taking other people's jobs. You know, we wouldn't.
I'm not prepared at all for pick 'em either. I've done very little research, but I'm happy to oblige.
That's okay.
It's like my fantasy football picks. I just pick SEC players. I'm generally okay.
And then you're generally going to pick. That's absolutely correct. So yeah, okay. Charlie, thank you. It's been a privilege sitting down across from you on the opposite side. I know it's been flipping that table for you has been a little strange too for you, but you're going to be over here the next time that everybody sees you and back on this side of the table hosting.
Yeah, so. I don't know if I have a good side, but we'll let my mom deal with that. Hey, thank you so much, Kim, for hosting for the summer series. You and Manny and Heather and just producing excellent content and. You may get more requests to stay on that side. So if that's the case, hopefully you're open to that. You are all about communications, right? So
well, it's communications.
Yeah, this has been fun. Thanks so much.
It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.